They saw that woman thrown from her vehicle and her young daughter calling out for help.
There's new life being brought to his case
as ice turns to water.
Cook has a lengthy criminal history.
It's going to take some time, and it's frankly going to take the effort of the nominee.
He clearly intended for her to die.
Domestic violence is a serious problem.
If you feel very passionately.
On every corner in Park City, you've got this, piles and piles of snow.
This same man was caught on camera doing the exact same thing.
It is unclear if the officer will return to work before that investigation is complete.
They've put out those sandbags, but it seems not everyone around here is in a big rush to stack them up.
The water comes in here, hits these trees and comes in here.
Robert Swenson's family has owned this house on the Weber River for nearly 60 years.
Got to fight it every year. As long as you're going to live on a river, you're going to have a flood. That's just the way it is.
Sandbags from years past guard the house, but it can be a losing battle.
This morning I had it in here on the steps. I mean, all this was wet.
Over the next 2 weeks, we expect that if the temperatures stay about the same, relatively consistent, that we'll see flows about where they are right now.
Summit County has set up sandbag filling stations in Oakley and Woodland, but so far, the bags remain relatively untouched.
It's really up to the homeowners or the property owners to decide when or how they want to protect their properties.
Even with water creeping into the yard, for some, it's no rush.
This is life on the river. I don't bother with it unless basically somebody comes along and says, hey, we got to sandbag your place to keep somebody else dry.
Even if that means Swenson's own house gets a little wet. Chewing through 4 feet of snow? No problem for Park City road crews.
This parking lot in the wintertime is actually used for snow storage.
Not anymore. It's been taken over by the Sundance Film Festival.
Sundance is our next big obstacle or a big opportunity to get the town cleaned up for Sundance.
Walls of snow, 4.5 feet tall on the roadside, and snow still falling.
We've got no room to really push snow, so we're having to blow snow right after the snowstorm.
This snowblower started running at 4 Wednesday morning. It'll run all night into Thursday.
Plowing is just one small step of this. It's picking it up and moving it.
The city has 129 miles of lanes to keep clear. For the film festival, they have to clear lots, usually used to pile snow up. But once they hand it over to the festival,
then it becomes Sundance's issue.
It's no easier for Sundance. Teams with shovels clear space to set up venues.
That pile did not exist this morning. So the crew came in and they had their snow blowers and just blew all the snow into this pile so we could pull the trucks in.
Sundance starts on the 19th. Between now and then, city crews check weather reports every hour, making sure Utah's signature film festival isn't snowed out.
James Knight Ord III.
A kingly name. Check.
Do you cheers with tea? No.
Proper tea etiquette. Check. An intriguing family story passed down from his grandfather. Check.
Our family would have been the rightful heirs of the crown, but that we were sent off packing.
The royal tale, detailed in the Daily Mail, goes like this. King George IV, then Prince George, illegally married a Roman Catholic woman named Maria Fitzherbert in the late 1700s. When George inherited, the marriage was annulled. But
they tried to get her to sign the back of her marriage certificate claiming that she had no issue, that there were no children of issue from the marriage. And she, of course, refused to do so.
The child, if he was born, may have led to James Knight Ord the First, the second, and now the third.
Gay ex-Mormon is our new king.
Prince Charles, Prince Williams, and Prince George might take exception, but they're not the only ones.
Are you the King of England? I am not the King of England, not by any stretch of the imagination.
Don't worry, Queen Elizabeth. James doesn't want your crown. Besides, he says he's one of at least 15 James Ords. Still,
it was fun to muse on, especially when I was a lad.
Did he say lad? Reminds me of another kingly lad. My big chance to have tea with the king? Not exactly. But as James Knight Ord III will tell you himself, it makes for a ripping good story.
In Salt Lake City, Matt McDonald, Fox 13 News, Utah.
This is where I've said he's always been from the beginning. This is where he hangs out and feels comfortable.
Heather Woolsey says she's tired of waiting for law enforcement to track down her ex-husband, Ronald Woolsey, so she's going to do it herself.
I want my life back. I don't want to have to live in fear every day.
Heather has enlisted a private detective to help her look throughout downtown Salt Lake.
He thinks he's gotten away with it again, which is really frustrating to me, and I won't let him get away with this again.
Woolsey has been arrested numerous times in multiple states for domestic abuse, stalking, and most recently in 2015 for violating a protective order in which he sent a threatening letter to the couple's children.
He said that nothing will ever keep them apart. Not me, not my mother, not anyone, that there was nothing on this earth that would stop him.
Woolsey was released on probation from Utah County Jail on August 30th. Within days, he disappeared again.
I said this would happen. This is what he's done every time. This is just how he operates. He's above the law.
According to adult probation and parole, Woolsey gave them a fraudulent address and phone number. Heather wants to know how this could happen.
I do feel like they let me down. They need to pay more attention. There needs to be more done. Lives are on the line. My life is on the line.
The state says with one probation officer assigned to every 70 people, it's tough to keep track of everyone.
Those officers are really overwhelmed in terms of what they can do.
Provo police are keeping a close eye on Heather. Woolsey is now on Utah County's most wanted list. They say his past is one giant red flag.
The results were alarming. It indicated there's a significant risk that he's going to reoffend.
He was sentenced for stalking and harassing me, and he didn't report in, and they've issued a no bail warrant.
Heather says it's imperative that she or the police find him before he finds her.
I just don't want to die.